What's going on, people? What's happening? Yeah, man. I'm gonna be heading to the store after a while, but I just wanted to just come and just talk about this little thing that we're in. That when we don't now, how can you tell who the real Jews are according to the Bible? Because it said in the Bible that the way you would tell, God always He left a trace mark, and He prophesied these things that He will let His people know how you can identify who the Jews are. He tells us that. He said we can identify them through the problems. If you seem to be having problems, it's not even about the skin color. It's about whether your spirit, our spirit, my spirit bear witness with this. And so you can, it's like the curses are a bad thing. He said these things will be put up on these people. These certain conditions will be put up on our people if those people didn't keep the commandments. If those people didn't keep the commandments of God, all 613 commandments, He said all these curses will come upon thee and overtake thee or pursue you. You see what I'm saying? And He said they will be living in certain, because He said they will be cursed in the city, they will be cursed in the work field, like our ancestors was cursed in the cotton field. Then you had where the modern day cotton field, when you go on these jobs and you work on these jobs, you know that have you ever just worked on a job and it just seemed like you worked and made minimum wages, worked for minimum wage, and you bought some money home, and it just seemed like you seemed like you wasn't getting nowhere. I'm one of those people. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, man, you work all these years and you just don't seem to be able to climb or get nowhere. You know what I mean? It's like you work your whole life. You see what I'm saying? And it just seemed like, damn. It's like you still at, it's like being your car getting stuck and you trying to spin in the wheels, and you've been doing it for years and you still in that same spot and you ain't moved nowhere. It look like it seems like the more you try to do better for yourself, it seems like the worse the things get. So that's how you can actually tell who your people is. I mean, who you are according to the Bible. You see what I'm saying? Because one thing about it, the trail mark of the curse is going to let you know whether you identify with them curses, who you are. It's going to let you know who you identify with and who you don't identify with. You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, the so-called white man or the so-called Caucasian European man cannot read Deuteronomy 28 and they can say, oh, that's talking about me or that's my people. They can't read that. They won't be able to comprehend it. They wouldn't even be able to speak on it because it'll consume them. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't be able to stand and sit up and look at our people too long, or look in the eyes, because they know that they forefathers, even to this day, is benefiting off of our poverty. We living in something like this, and they living over yonder. You go over there in uptown, up there by the so-called big Catholic church, that big pedophile church. And you're going to see them living in the neighborhood. You're going to see they're going to be close by stores. They are right up in town with everything. A so-called black man, Negro man, he got to take and be living all the way back in the woods. And he got to make sure everything is right on his car. He living he got to go 15 damn miles just to get to a store. You see what I'm saying? So some people say you can change certain conditions. Of course, we can change it, but what runs over their head is that you still got to go to the other nation and get everything. You see what I'm saying? So how you can tell who the real Jews are when you have to sit back? I woke up this morning and I was thinking. I said, Lord, like the scripture came to my mind. You think about that scripture. Does this apply to me? And these curses shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. And I had to look up what word wonder means. I think I forgot what it meant. I think it told me. Wonder is another word for it would be a mystery to you. You know what I mean? It'll be state of disbelief, shock, or something that you cannot understand. It will be a amazement, something that you can't figure out. You see what I'm saying? It's something that you never heard of, or something that you never understood, and why, or what's going on. You see what I'm saying? Like what's going on? I don't know, and it just leave you in a thought of from what I looked up. You see what I'm saying? So I looked up the word what wonder was, a sign and a wonder. Like I wonder who I am. I wonder what, I don't know. And then when you read like something like in the Bible where it says, the ox knows his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel does not know, my people does not consider. When you read things like that, my people does not know. And then when you look in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 46, these curses shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. So when I look at things like that, it says based upon that, if you don't really know who you are according to the Bible, because he made it plain, he said Israel would not know who they are. So that means that we would apply to that. By the grace of God, it's a possibility that I can apply to that. I don't like to go around and rub myself in every spot, not really knowing. So I'm just in the spot like you hope and pray that I am. That's what I hope and pray. You know what I mean? But when I look at the condition that I'm in, or when I look at living in a single parent household my whole life, or when I look at the car being cocked up, living in something like this is not a mansion. You can clearly look at it and see it's not a mansion. Then you can pretty much determine, like, let me show you an example. Like when you look at that car been parked up here for 3 years, right? When you look around here, you can tell this is not a mansion. These are just regular apartments. It's not a mansion. You can see it's not nowhere like a rich place. You see what I'm saying? The grass don't hardly, in the summertime, you can basically tell where we live. You see what I'm saying? It ain't like you living in here in a place where, hold on. Down there, I don't know if y'all could see that down there. Like down there by the dumpster, you can see like little trash on the ground and stuff like that. You go into, if you live in a mansion, it's gonna have a big fence around. It's gonna look like a place where it's just gonna look like a big rich, it's gonna look like a big old building with tall fence around it. Everything just look, it's gonna be like paradise basically. And it's gonna look like the grounds, you can damn near put your food on the ground and you can eat off the ground, stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So when I look at conditions like this here, like me, I never owned my own home, never invested in any of that, didn't know how to do it, grew up to where I couldn't read or write, none of that. Now although I am practicing learning how to read and write and stuff like that, but you still have to rely upon, you still got to go and pay for the material to teach you how to read. You still got to go and pay for all that different types of stuff. So you still relying upon a certain nation who controls it all. You know. So it's something out here, man. So this is proof. The curses, man. So all of these things are the proof, because I say God knew that we was gonna be living in here before we did. Before I was born, he knew that this was going to happen. So there's a reason. So he said he will leave trace marks to show you who the real Israelites are. And that's all I can go on. You see what I'm saying? Anything else, I don't know. The only thing that is left to give me a general idea of what I could be is living in these conditions like this here. Living in a single parent household. I should be out there having my own legacy. Part of being rejected by the sisters. Of course, I don't let it bother me as much as I used to. Like when I was in my 30s, I was definitely trying to look for a sister to be married to and all that kind of stuff. I was looking into that, but it was just so bad until when I got in my 40s, it don't bother me like that. Like, of course, I'm not sitting up here saying I want to be lonely. Nobody in this and it wants to be lonely. You know what I'm saying? No matter how many times they say I don't need a man, or no matter how many times they say I don't need a woman, and the woman say I don't need a man, at the end of the day, man, they lying to themselves. Nobody in their right mind wants to be lonely. I don't care how they try to put it, what they try to say. Oh, I'm happy single. They not really happy single. No, no, they not happy single. But we'll come back and we'll dive more into what I just talked about. All right, I'll see y'all later.